Okay. Good morning, everyone. I hope everyone is feeling good and healthy today and staying safe. My name is Vlad Mirosh. I'm a solution architect in Ellipse Solutions, and I represent the technical side of Dynamics 365 for operations, and mostly I work on ERP implementations. So I'm located in Dayton, Ohio, and there are no mountains in Dayton, so those are Smoky Mountains behind me. So out of these 25 years, I spent 8 with the company on ERP consulting. And I remember that first go live in 2016. It was that time when Microsoft Dynamics 365 for finance and operations had a sweet name, AX7. Also, if you're interested in getting the implementation estimate, there is a free 2 days discovery available. And of course, this webinar is also absolutely free, unless you wish to donate the paper towels to the presenter. I'll take it. Okay, today's agenda. So if you have experience with Microsoft CRM, especially cloud version, you should already be more familiar with CDS and Microsoft Power Platform, but I assume that most of you are ERP experts and have been getting along without CDS for all these years. And you might be wondering, why would you spend the next 40-50 minutes listening about common data service? So I will help you to connect the dots and show how it is related to finance and operations world. It has become a tradition to demystify CDS in the beginning of every session, so I will contribute to that too. There will be a brief history lesson that will get us up to speed with the CRM world and help to understand the origins of CDS, and you will understand why it is important. I'll go over CDS versions. We're lucky we have only 2. And then I will demonstrate where common data model resides, and then explain the relation between CDS and Power Platform. If you're an ERP developer or BA, the chances are you didn't get to deal with CDS very often so far. So you may like the demo of the integration patterns for finance and operations and CDS. So, and finally, we'll take a sneak peek into the near future of CDS integration, which I believe will be bright. So, talking about misconceptions. There are quite a few misconceptions, especially when it comes to CDS is just another database. Well, CDS has the database, but it also provides many more features than just data. CDS is one more integration technology. Of course, the main idea of CDS is common data shared between applications, and it has integration capabilities with non-CDS type of applications, but as part of bigger Microsoft Power Platform, CDS serves significantly bigger purpose than just data integration. CDS and CDS data integrator are the same. So of course, it's not true, because CDS data integrator is that component of the service that allows CDS to integrate with other non-CDS based platforms. CDS and CDM are the same. Again, not true, because CDM is a data specification, a collection of schemas, and it is an essential part of CDS, of course. But CDS is more than just data. It's a back-end platform for creating new applications with server-side logic, validations, and security model. So CDS can be disregarded as a non-essential technology. I can assure you CDS as a main engine of Microsoft Power Platform, it's a big deal. So, but let's eat this elephant one bite at a time. And as we go, I'll bring clarity to all these concepts before we move on to the questions of CDS integration with other platforms. So, history of Microsoft CRM. Well, in order to understand the nature of CDS, and we have to take a short trip back in time and go over the evolution of Microsoft Business Software. This is where the origins of CDM, CDS are. And we won't stay on this slide for long. You can always look it up if you're a history fan. But I highlighted the key events that led to the invention of CDS. So first of all, when term XRM was introduced, that year, the potential of reusability of many CRM concepts was realized in Microsoft. Then came CRM Online, the prototype of the cloud application that we know now, and solution in layers. That's when it became technically possible to add, remove solutions to the CRM product as packages, like talking about finance and operations, we have deployable packages, so something like that, but in CRM. So in 2016, the product Microsoft CRM was renamed into Customer Engagement. So that was a Customer Engagement Suite. That's when all old modules became the separate applications. And now Customer Engagement Suite includes applications like Dynamics 365 Sales, Dynamics 365 Marketing, Customer Service, Field Service, Project Service Automation. So when you hear Customer Engagement, that means Suite, the multiple apps. Former CRM. When you hear someone refers to Sales, just Sales, that means only one of the apps from the suite. And finally, 2018, the advent of Microsoft Power Platform. So Customer Engagement Suite applications finally got decoupled from the underlying platform. So architecturally, this redesign means that applications like Sales and Customer Service simply became first-party Power apps on Power Platform. This is important. We'll get back to Power Platform later, and I have a couple of dedicated slides to it. Let's take a closer look at the XRM concept that I brought up on the previous slide. So term XRM stands for Any Relations Management, not just Customer Relation Management. So, and its main idea is to reuse the foundation of the CRM system to create new application. So these new applications would be tailored for a specific customer needs. For example, imagine the application that manages schools and students instead of business customers. So keep in mind that that was good old on-premise era, no clouds yet. And depending on business needs, building an XRM application can take a form of either tweaking standard CRM processes just by customizing the existing CRM applications. So these are usually smaller size modifications. Or you can choose designing completely new applications, also called line of business applications. And the apps that are not based on sales, service, or marketing functionality included in standard Microsoft CRM. So line of business applications. When the organization decides to build a custom solution for their business, it can choose either creating it from a ground up using custom application development methods, or what Microsoft suggests is the concept of building custom software by using the Microsoft CRM platform as a foundation. And that allows to build entirely new applications. Like entirely new means completely unrelated to typical CRM functionality. So this slide shows the advantage of using XRM framework to build line of business application, because it allows the dev teams to focus straight on application logic, because everything else is already done and implemented in the platform. Now, when we're all on the same page with foundation concept of Microsoft CRM, let's get back on track with CDS. The next few slides, I took it from HubDrive company website, so because their illustrations, they were perfect examples of the need for the needs of this webinar. And as courtesy, I left their website address at the bottom, but I have no whatever affiliation with them. So let's slightly change the perspective by pulling other Dynamics 365 products into the discussion. And back in those days, in 2016, all Dynamics applications were using their own separate databases. So pay attention to that green HR app that was apparently built on XRM platform. And then look at standard HR module on the right side of the screen inside the finance and operations. So if you owned both of these products, you obviously need to synchronize the data between these two components, or better off, you'd prefer they share the same data. So the idea of a central platform to make all systems more compatible led to the development of the Common Data Service CDS 1.0. At that time, talent application was extracted as a separate app, and apparently to satisfy some needs for customers looking for a standalone HR solution. And by the way, human resource module is still available in finance and operations too. So the Microsoft CRM application was renamed into Dynamics 365. And if you remember, there were a lot of confusion about that, because Dynamics 365 is CRM and Dynamics 365 Finance and Operations is Finance and Operations. So you always have to add that part in the name. So all three apps, Dynamics 365, CRM, Finance and Operations, and Talent, all these applications kept data in their own separate databases. But with the help of CDS 1.0, it became possible to synchronize the data using CDS Silo. And that actually provided the connection between the applications. So, however, the concept remained fuzzy, and implementation of that had performance issues, and this approach turned out to be non-practical. So a year later, Microsoft actually realized that there is no need to build a new business platform like CDS, as they already had XRM for Dynamics 365. So XRM was a proven, mature technology with a bunch of features. So all they had to do is to incorporate the CDS 2.0 project into Dynamics 365, and then adapt XRM engine to the cloud needs. And actually that became their new main business platform, which was named CDS for apps, if you ever heard about it. That removed data incompatibility issues, and they also exposed the unified APIs for integration with non-CDS products. And well, if you look at this in the terms of Microsoft Flow, also known as Power Automate, you just need one connector now, the CDS connector, to get access to all apps united under CDS umbrella. And as you can see, the Microsoft Talent app migrated back to Dynamics 365 platform. And that enabled direct integration of talent data with the rest of Dynamics 365 apps. and including this small green app on the slide. So oversimplifying things, CRM database has become a common data model, and XRM framework has become CDS for apps, the new business platform. However, it's a new business platform, but to start developing your cloud applications based on CDS for apps, you don't have to install Dynamics 365 applications. This is because Microsoft decoupled the core features and entities from business modules of Microsoft CRM, and that's what made CDS for apps a business platform. So let me repeat it again here. To be able to create your own app on top of CDS for apps platform, you just need to deploy a base instance of CDS for apps. And you can start creating model-driven apps in Power Apps portal. Why model-driven? Because model-driven apps are the only apps that work with CDS for apps. So you can build with the Power Apps tool, you can build the Canvas apps as well, but they are not able to work with the CDS. So to work with CDS, you need the model-driven apps. And because all CRM modules like sales, marketing, field service, and so on, they are also based on CDS for apps platform. They are considered first-party apps on Power Platform. And of course, you can use Power Apps to customize these first-class citizens. You simply might not have a license to deploy Dynamics 365 first-party applications. So you can create your own applications by just extending the base instance. Okay, that will be our first demo. I will jump into it to visualize what I just tried to explain. Let me quickly find here the. We need Power Platform. So Power Platform Admin Center, that's where you would look at your environment. So what is the environment? This is the container for your D365 instance. So when you create the new environment to start development, gosh, I didn't see it here. So when you create the new environment, you get to an option to create a database. That would be your common data model. That would be your database. So if we choose that we want it, go to the next step. And this flag actually means, do you want or do you have license to install the Dynamics 365 apps in your new environment? So if we choose to have them and we have a license to do that, so we can install standard CRM applications. And of course, when you then create your model-driven app in the Power Apps, those first party Power Apps applications, Dynamics 365 applications, and your own app, they would share the same database. So I will not proceed with that. And this is my environment that I will be using for this demo. So let me show which applications are installed here in this environment. So for that, we'll go to Power Apps, make a portal. Apps. Oh, here you are. So these are all applications that I have in my environment, installed in my environment. All right, so done with that. Let's proceed with the presentation. Now, when we found out that CDS, what CDS is, let's take a look at what happens when you deploy the instance of CDS. So, of course, the users and even tenant admins, they have no control over the deployment process, obviously. And I suppose the scale of that deployment depends on the number of company licenses, right? But as you can see, CDS is an abstraction on top of underlying Azure Cloud data management services. So CDS is not just this data storage. It implements business logic, enforces like business rules, and apply automations. So all this is to make it easier to build business applications. Now, returning back to CDM schema, the core entities in CDM database that you can see on the left side of the screen are deployed with the base instance of CDS for apps. That's what I just showed. So if you deploy the database, you will get those base instances. But the rest of the data entities that you see here under CRM group, talent group, other entities, these entities are peculiar to Dynamics 365 applications or applications that you create, the model-driven applications. And all of these applications should be built on CDS and installed in the same environment. And they would share the same environment because the environment allows only one CDS database. Like, for instance, if you look at the talent app here, I will show the demo in a second, by the way. So some of these apps, like talent is not a good example. So look at the CRM account and contact. You see, so there is a core entity called account and contact. Yep, and we have the same in CRM. So they extend the core entities. So in other words, CDM provides the consistent data representation across multiple applications. Now let me demonstrate how human resource as database. For that, what we need for that, we need, first of all, we need to go to Power Apps Maker portal. Those are entities. I am in the same environment that you saw in the admin portal, and these are entities. I will look up for the worker here. Here's my worker entity. And another application that we need is human resources. Let's start a new session. So I hired myself in the company. And here you go. In the Power Apps, let's go to Data tab to see the data. And let's find myself. Here I am, 662, Vlad. And my gender is non-specific. Of course, I want to change that because I know my gender. So I'll go here and find myself in human resource. So if I did mention, so the talent app was renamed into human resources. So I can say talent or human resources. You would understand that's the same app. So here is Vlad. Let's see my gender here. Gender is non-specific. Okay, let's change it to male. And save the record. Come on. Now, I saved it. I refresh data in the data entity. And what I see here, mail. So it's instantly updated it. Well, real fast. Okay. Let's go back to webinar. All right, so talking about talent application, human resources. Before it was renamed to Dynamics 365 Human Resources, the talent app had two siblings, Attract and Onboard, which you can see on the left side. So both apps were deprecated at the end of 2019, and but what is interesting about those apps, they were originally built on CDS for apps, and CDM was their native database. So you just looked at the forms in Talent, right? So you could easily notice that it's so similar with finance and operations. And this is because human resources originates from finance and operations, and it was not built on top of CDS for apps platform. It uses the same technology as finance and operations. So how come the Talent was absorbed by CDS? Well, in fact, Talent is using two databases. So the trick with Talent is this product has a built-in capability to synchronize its primary database with CDS platform in near real mode. That's what I just demonstrated. So this ability to automatically sync data with CDS makes human resources sort of unique among other non-CDS Dynamics applications, because even Microsoft recommends to use CDS integrations to communicate with human resources talent, as if it was a natural modern model-driven app. As we started mentioning Microsoft Power Platform in the light of CDS, let's talk about it in more detail. So the purpose of Microsoft Power Platform is the same as older XRM framework. It's a provided platform to build business applications. So only this time Microsoft went much further, and it included other cloud services and tools into the platform. And that was one of the reasons why classic XRM was extended and redesigned to become CDS for apps. So the focus was shifted from the older relationship management engine into the bigger possibility to make many different apps and services to talk with one another without the need for development every time. So on this slide, you can see that CDS is shown in the middle. It's the heart of the entire Power Platform, and the other components are kind of built around it, right? Yet another perspective on Microsoft Power Platform and CDS. CDS is in the bottom right corner. So the main stress here is made on the front-end tools, and CDS provides backend along with the other supporting services. But in the nutshell, Microsoft Power Platform can be defined as an application development platform that connects to hundreds of data sources using the connectors library, flow and data connectors, and brings that data together in common data services. And the purpose of all this is to customize and extend Office 365, Dynamics 365, and other Azure applications using Power Apps in the center, and to uncover insights with the help of Power BI. So, and this is what we're going to integrate finance and operations with. So finally, we made it to data integration. By now, you have an understanding of how data is shared between CDS applications. They just share the same data model. And talking about data integration of CDS platform with non-CDS products in general, you can use the variety of integration tools and methods, whatever matches best your business requirements. So what does the term CDS data integration specifically means when it's mentioned in the context of finance and operations? Ever since Microsoft started suggesting cloud deployment option for the Dynamics products, the customers took for granted that finance and operations should easily communicate with sales in the cloud. So some sort of data integration mechanism was naturally expected, and that pressure was building up as more customers were planning to get on board with ERP and sales apps. So, well, originally there were no such mechanism. So instead, Microsoft suggested to use cloud integration services like Logic Apps or third-party technologies, or there was another way, just to simply wait until Microsoft finally provides that mechanism. So apparently, they never stopped working in this direction. And by now, they've done quite a lot in tight collaboration with the community and the real customers that were most interested in getting the integration solution as soon as possible. So there is one very important thing that you need to understand about CDS data integration. So in my view, this is basically data synchronization across applications. It's not an integration. So the synchronization that implies field-to-field mapping. And the ultimate goal of it is just to get systems on the same page, data-wise. So this synchronization should allow data transformations, should be easily configurable, and any customizations in the data model should be easily manageable for the data mapping. It also should eliminate or minimize the need for developers' effort or manual data entry. So that would be the characteristic of such a synchronization mechanism. And of course, Microsoft provides it for free. It's a part of the product stack. So let me suggest the real life scenario. Your company, by the way, sorry if you hear my background noise, someone is trying to cut the grass. Sorry about that. Let me suggest the real life scenario here. So your company uses human resource app to manage personnel within your organization. And you are also actively using your workers in finance and operations. Should layoff happen to one of your employees, you would certainly prefer to get this information synchronized to finance and operations. Or another example, your business process requires to create a quote in sales, then manage it across the systems back and forth, and then invoice the order in finance and operations and transfer the invoice information back to sales. So that's the data integration scenarios we will be talking about. So starting from here, all slides will be dedicated exclusively to integration of finance and operations with the applications that run on common data service. So first technology for that Microsoft suggested in 2018 was Classic Data Integrator. So why it's called Classic, to differentiate it from the later technology. So the main problem with this pattern is that it uses batch execution, means you have to schedule the job to perform the synchronization. And that execution always has one direction. It's either finance and operations or CDS app. So you have to choose master-slave system, which is the problem. And I will explain why a little bit later. So the latest generation of data integration with finance and operation is called dual write. And at this point, it is still available as a preview, but Microsoft has been making like improvements to it every couple of weeks lately. So this approach, the dual write, is near real time, and it has no downside of unidirectional pattern. Let's also mention that transactional data is not supported by any of these patterns. So it's only reference data, master data, and documents like quotes and sales orders. Right, so classic data integrator, it provides out-of-the-box field mapping templates and also supports integration scenario like prospect to cash. That's an integration scenario between finance and operation and sales. To run this integration scenario, so prospect to cash solution has to be installed for Dynamics 365 side, so for customer engagement, for CRM. So that solution is like, again, like we do in finance and operations, we deploy the code as a deployable package. So they have a solution package, right, for that. So you have to install the prospect to cash solution. And you can find that solution on App Store. Also worth mentioning that prospect to cash scenario is now also supported by dual write approach. So and one more thing, because dual write also requires solutions to deploy for Dynamics 365, it's also dual write is supported by those solutions. It's another set of solutions, of course. So that fact actually, you can't run dual write and classic prospect to cash solutions side by side in the same environment. So you have to choose either this or that. But of course, I would recommend dual write because it's a newer and advanced technology. So I will demonstrate how classic data integrator works on human resource apps because they do not require any solutions. And by the way, this human resource scenario is now also supported by dual write. So no reason to stay on classic data integrator. That's my point. So again, I mentioned templates. So when you use classic data integrator, Microsoft provides the templates. It's a set of entities with the field mapping that are so that work actually is done for you. So the mapping between two systems, field to field, is done for you. You have to just use that template or customize that template or build your own template on the basis of the provided template. But also, like I mentioned, it's a one direction synchronization with the help of classic data integrator. And okay, I'll get to that later. But this is the schema actually, and it explains the template for the integration. Let me bring up the application now. So for that, what we need for that, we need finance and operations with the workers, and we need human resources. Oh, this is finance and operations, and we need the workers here. And also, I will show you the integrator. This is the data integrator. So if you go to Power Platform Admin Center, this is data integration. This is the data integrator screen. Resources. Okay, personnel management. We'll create a new worker and then see how it will be transferred to finance and operations from, excuse me, is it too loud on the background? Because it's really annoying.
No, I think it's fine.
It's fine. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Robin. All right, let's create the new, well, let's hire the new employee here. Oh, hold on. Let me first show you the integrator, and then we'll proceed with the creating of all. Where was it? Here. Okay, so data integrator, to enable data integration with the classic data integrator, you have to create a new project. Let's go through the steps and I will show you how easy is that. Project, demo, okay, you have to choose the connection set to connect to system. We are connecting finance and operations and human resources, talent. I have already created the connection set here, so I will just reuse one. I will not create a new one. Well, creating the new connection set is just providing the credentials for both systems. So trust me on that. And here is the template option. So you can choose the template. You can choose either your own template or suggested by Microsoft that has versioning, that has date and everything. So let's choose this one because it's an older version. I mean, older, the later version. You choose the organizations in the products to synchronize. In this case, these are companies because finance and operations uses companies, and talent also uses companies because it was a part of finance and operations. So no problem with that here. So usually with CRM products, which they naturally do not have the company concept, so that would be a department here. So we click create. We're creating our project. And here's our project, and I will show you what we have here. So this is the template that we applied. You see the sequence, that's the sequence how the synchronization will happen. This arrow actually shows the direction of the synchronization that will happen. If you click here, you can see the fields mapping. Just the fields mapping. Also, with the classic data integrator, you have an opportunity to apply advanced query and filtering. If you ever worked with Power BI, so you probably worked with M language that you can apply here for data transformations. Why it's so slow today? Oh God. There you go. So you can apply filters here. You can add more steps. So it's just the usual interface for mashup language. We'll not stay on that. And how you run your project. So now we created the project. So how would you run it? So I will not use the one that I just created. I will go to the one that I ran a couple of times already for the purpose of this webinar. And you see there is a scheduling tab where you can either run it manually or you can create a schedule and actually run it with some frequency. And there is also an execution history available where you see I ran it 4 times so far. And if you click on that history, it's pretty detailed. So you can see all the entities that were synchronized so far. So all the history, or if you have errors, do you have errors here? No, just the warnings. You can drill down to the warning, and basically, because classic data integrator uses DMF on finance and operations side, so you could easily identify that error on finance and operations side in DMF module tile workspace. Okay, so this is basically comes from finance and operations. So what is the problem with this unidirectional approach. The problem is that when you run your synchronization project, it actually takes the information from one system and puts it into another, usually on schedule, right? So imagine the situation when you set up two projects, and one project actually synchronizes the worker table from finance and operations to human resources, and another project doing this with the worker table from human resource to finance and operations. So, and if between the runs of those jobs, your workers, your users actually update the same record in both systems. So the next job that will run, it will overwrite the target system. So that's the main problem of it. All right, so let's demonstrate integrator. Let's demonstrate the scenario that I wanted to show you. Let's hire the new employee here. The management number. Stay here. Employees. Oh gosh. All right. So first name. Let's hire Andar Pichai. Let's hire him today. Right. That's it. I don't think we need to provide anything else. Hire and add details. Let's add some details. Maybe telephone number. All right. Telephone number. We wanted to provide a telephone number. Come back here. Add description. Phone. 555. All right. Save it. And we will expect. What's going on? Why are we still here? Sorry about that. Infrastructure issues. Oh, okay. Come on. Okay, let me reopen it here in human resource. Maybe another form will work. Okay, workers. All right, let's find Sundar. Do we have Sundars here? No. Okay. Oh, Sundar. I misspelled him. Sundar. No Sundar. Okay. All right. So now back to data integrator. Where is the data integrator? It's here. So I will run this project that I already ran a couple of times. We will not probably wait till the end of execution of this job because it's kind of slow today. So I will proceed with the webinar. Run project. And let's see execution history. Yeah, there is a new instance running. Let's see if we see the progress. So this classic data integrator works the same way, like for every template. So it's not just for human resources, for any other app as well. So yeah, we started. I'm gonna refresh and check the progress because we just added one worker. So we'll at the end of this list we'll see workers. Hopefully our Sundar will be synchronized. Okay, so I will not wait till we finish here. Let's go ahead with the next slide, and then we'll check. So dual write. Dual write integration is a separate and more robust platform, more robust than classic data integrator, and it supports all previously provided scenarios. It's a near real-time synchronization that provides seamless data integration. It actually looks like I showed with the change in gender. So you just apply change and then check the other system. It's all there. Dual write support is embedded into finance and operation. You will see this beautiful entity map list page. I will show it in the next demonstration. Microsoft actually was doing a great job adding more and more data entities with field mapping, and currently it's about 128 data entities available with the field mapping. And so let's jump into the demo actually, and I will show you what dual write look like in Dynamics 365. It is in preview. It is not available for you to deploy like regularly you would deploy it through LCS. So you will have to be signed for the preview. Let's check our progress here. No, I think it's stuck. So we are in Dynamics. I mean finance and operations, and let's find the tile with the DMF. They have it under favorites. Yes, I do. And here is the beautiful tile, dual write. I didn't check, but I believe it's a Power App container. Is opening now. Hopefully it's opening. Come on. Yeah, there you go. Here you go, baby. Okay, so these are the 128 data entities with field mapping that I mentioned. If we open any of those, you will see the field mapping. And it looks very similar to classic data integrator, actually, with the error logs and details and everything. So map type, you see this back and forth errors actually that are representing the dual write. So two systems will write in both directions. And this is available on field level. Actually, you can specify either this one means the transformation was applied to this mapping. This one is just direct synchronization, and so on. So every you have an activity log for this data entity. Let's go back. Also the status, which is very important to see the status. Oh, come on. Okay, what the status means here. So because all these data entities, they are involved in multiple synchronization scenarios, where it's not just one table to one table, it might be a scenario like a prospect to cache scenario, which is also supported by dual write now. So what I was going to demonstrate for you today here is just a simpler scenario. It's just a customer, but the customer is not a simple data entity. It refers to many other tables. So what the dual write suggests here, so when you click the run, no, I should check first check it. Here you go. So when I click run, the dual write suggests the list of the entities that have to be synchronized prior to your data entity. So that is done for you. So all you have to do is to run the initial synchronization for those entities. And when the initial synchronization is over, they stay in the running mode, and that's when you can start synchronizing your main data entity, like I did with the customers, right? So if you see the customers are running, that means the synchronization is in place and waiting for me to make the changes, and all other data entities are running. Those that are running, actually, that's what customers depend on. So they, of course, obviously they should run as well, because you might add more details to your reference tables, right? And also what I need to mention here, and what was the problem in the classic data integrator. So like imagine you stopped the classic data integrator for some time for main tenants. So if at that time your users make changes on the same record in both systems, so when you enable it again, you will lose data. So here it's not the case, because you actually can choose your data entity, and well, I didn't mean it. I just wanted to actually select it. Oh, mistakes cost a lot. So what you can do, you can actually pause it. So you can pause it. So what pause means is that the dual write will accumulate all the changes that are going on both sides while your synchronization mechanism is paused. So when you enable it back to running state, it will actually get it from the stack and apply all the changes that were made in both systems, right? Okay, so it's now time to check the our project. Was it? Refresh. Complete. Okay, so we should be able to find our worker here, which is Sundar. Yeah, here you go. So this is finance and operations. Sundar is here. All good. All right. So the only demo which is left for us is the dual write demo with the customers. Let me switch to it right away. What we need to do is to synchronize the customer in finance and operations and sales app. So for that, we'll need the sales app. So let me open up the sales app. Because like I showed you, the synchronization is running. It is expecting us to make the changes on either side. So whatever we prefer, let's start from the sales side, right? And let's also find customers, all customers here. We'll demonstrate update on one of the customers. So let it be 23, Shrike Retail. Let's open and check in both systems. And I'm opening sales now. That's the last demonstration. It's just a few slides left and we're done. Accounts. Let's see the customers here. Okay, US 23. Just reorder them. 23. Come on. Okay, here we go. All right. So this guy, contact information. Let's see Shrike Retail contact information. It has on the phone. And what do we have here? Still loading. Okay. Details, Shrike Retail. This is demo data in both systems. So let's see, no email description. Let's add email here. Roche. Ellipse Solutions. And the purpose, demo. All right, and I'm saving the changes. By the way, how do I save the changes? Oh, like that. I guess while it's saving. This is the requirements for using the dual rights when they will become globally available, or if you prefer to work with the preview. Finance and operations 10.09 on platform date 33, and CRM with 9.1. And this is the good news. In just a few days, the dual right will be globally available with a bunch of new features. Featured on this slide. Okay, let's go back and check our demo here. Okay, it's saved. Now let's check the customers and refresh it here and see if we have any updates in the contact information. Uh, 23. Shrike Retail. I refreshed it with F5 because I didn't see the right part of the screen. Sorry. So you see demo, email address, it's all here. Okay, so now let's do the other way around. We'll provide the payment details, the payment date on the customer in finance and operations. And that would be 15th. Okay, save. Come on. All right, and let's refresh it here. Where is the refresh, by the way? Yeah, here, so refresh. And that should be on accounting, tab page. I didn't show you originally that it was first here or empty, I don't remember. But yeah, here you go, so 15. So it all works. Okay. Global availability. Oh, this is not the end. Global availability. So they will keep improving this tool. What is expected in the next phase, and what is most interesting is, I think, it's the concept of the party. So that concept of the party will be implemented on the common data service level. So in the platform, you will not have to install the solutions on CRM side for that. So it all will be there. So, and that party will actually be available in every application in the CDS for app stack. Okay, and there will be also some smaller changes coming in the common data service, which is a good thing. Thank you very much for your attention. Sorry for the background noise and sorry for the lagging, but yeah, that's how it is. If you have any questions, please contact me. The information is on the screen.
Yes, thank you, Vlad. We do have one question in the queue. Would CDS be a possible solution to create a small master data management tool For example, tracking of product master data or customer and vendor master data tracking.
Now, by tracking, what the tracking means?
This is from Andreas. I'm going to unmute you so you can explain the question some more.
Sure, thank you. So thanks for the presentation, Vlad. Tracking means tracking of changes. If we have fields that have a global governance and are only allowed certain values, but can be edited freely. So keep track of changes there or compare against a set of standard data. This means tracking.
Oh, you mean you have finance and operation on one end and sales on the other? Or
yeah, we just have F&O.
I mean,
it's not really related to what you showed us, but
okay.
Out of the box thinking question.
Will the CDS help you to track the information? I'm not sorry. I'm trying to understand the question and the context.
For example, in combination with the Power App.
With a combination of Power App.
So if I have a Power App as a UI and would want to use a model-driven app, or would want to use CDS to track changes, it's just a question whether it's totally bollocks or could be a thing.
No, okay. So let me start from that end, from Power App. So you created an application. Obviously, if you want access to the data, to vendor and customer data, that would be a model-driven app because you will need to have access to CDM database, right? Mm-hmm. So, and if you manage to synchronize your information with CDS, whatever system you use on the other end would be if that would be a sales, the sales application, that you will naturally give the have the direct access to vendor information. If that would be any other non-CDS system on other end. So if that system is able to synchronize data with CDS and put that data, vendor data, into CDS, then of course it will be available for you. So availability of the vendor table in the CDS database is actually controlled by the security system, which is very flexible in CDS.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thanks.
Did I answer your question? Okay.
Yeah,
great.
Basically yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
No problem, sure.
Okay. Yeah, thanks, Vlad, and thanks everyone. That was the only question in the queue. So I'm gonna go ahead and stop the recording here.